A list that brings together Africa's true champions. From the top predator in the food chain to the most formidable giant. The Big Five: lion, leopard, elephant, African buffalo, and rhinoceros. 5 creatures that could make even the most seasoned hunters pause in awe. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Have you ever seen any of the Big Five in real life? It's so great to have you here. Now let's begin the journey to uncover Big Five, masters of the Savanna. Every encounter is a battle. The leopard is often chased off its territory and robbed of its catch by the lion. The massive elephant tears through trees and disrupts territories, forcing the rhinoceros to push back with all its might to protect its water source. The African buffalo charges head-on at anything that stands in its way, even a lion. Each member of the Big Five represents a different way of surviving, showcasing the diversity and raw intensity of Africa's ecosystem. They're not just fighting for territory, they're helping nature run by the ancient rules it was built on. In the late 19th century, when hunting became a favored pastime among Europe's upper class, professional hunters began referring to the 5 most challenging animals to hunt as the Big Five. Lions often lie motionless in the grasslands, but when threatened, they become fierce, with speeds topping 80 kilometers per hour, a bite force over 2,700 newtons, and claws sharp enough to tear through flesh in a single pounce. There have been incidents where lone male lions have ambushed people just like they do antelope, swift, decisive, and without hesitation. The African bush elephant may look peaceful while grazing, but all it takes is one sudden trigger for its over 5-ton body to charge like a living earthquake. A thrust from its long tusks can pierce through tree trunks, and its trunk is strong enough to lift a full-grown person with ease. According to the World Health Organization, more than 500 people lose their lives each year from elephant-related encounters. The Cape buffalo, also known as the Black Death, is a wild bovine so unpredictable that even the most seasoned hunters tread carefully. He looks at you like you owe him money, a chilling phrase that captures the cold, suspicious stare of the Cape buffalo and the tension it brings. The leopard, though smaller than the others, is a master of nighttime stalking and ambush. With claws as sharp as blades and a sleek, agile frame, it can vanish into the treetops or leap straight at its opponent's face when cornered. Then there's the rhinoceros. Sometimes, just the slightest movement from an unfamiliar presence can trigger a full-on charge. The black rhinoceros in particular tends to strike first and ask questions never, turning every hunting trip into an unpredictable gamble. So, who truly stands at the top of the Big Five? Who will be the last one standing after these heart-pounding encounters? Don't look away. The fiercest showdowns in Africa are just getting started. Under the golden sunset, spreading across the savannas of Africa, a creature steps out from the shadows, graceful, silent, yet full of quiet authority. It's the African leopard, the elusive rosette-spotted cat that moves through the wild as both predator and living symbol of nature's art of adaptation. They're not the largest feline on the continent, but they carry a powerful mix of strength and agility that commands respect from any creature nearby. Male leopards typically measure from 1 to nearly 2 meters in length, stand about 60 to 70 centimeters tall at the shoulder, and weigh between 37 and 40 kilograms to 100 kilogram. Females, on the other hand, are more petite, weighing from 28 to 60 kilograms and standing slightly shorter, around 57 to 64 centimeters tall. This difference reflects a trait known as sexual dimorphism, an evolutionary feature where each sex develops in a way that enhances its unique role in survival. When light filters through the canopy and lands on the leopard's golden coat, adorned with distinctive black patterns, each rosette appears like a carefully etched piece of artwork. These markings have darker centers and vary in size depending on where they appear on the body, tighter and smaller near the head, gradually widening toward the torso and tail. A 2024 study found that their patterns are not just for camouflage, they also reveal how the species has adapted to specific habitats across Africa. Leopards in tropical rainforests tend to have smaller, denser rosettes to blend with thick shadows, while those in grasslands have larger, more spaced-out patterns. It's not just their markings. Their entire body structure is a masterpiece of functional biology. They are compact but incredibly strong, with heavily muscled shoulders and legs. Their limbs may be short, but they're remarkably powerful, allowing them to climb vertical tree trunks while carrying heavy prey locked in their razor-sharp jaws. It's not unusual to see one haul an antelope, twice its weight, up into the branches, not to show off, but to stash the meal away from scavengers like lions or hyenas. That's not pride, it's survival strategy in a fiercely competitive ecosystem. Even more astonishing is their vast adaptability. From the rainforests of Central Africa to the Rocky Mountains over 5,000 meters high in Kenya, from the open grasslands of the Serengeti to the semi-arid deserts of Namibia, this species can be found throughout most of sub-Saharan Africa. Their ability to thrive across such a wide range of extreme environments makes the African leopard one of the most widely distributed big cats on Earth. Unlike lions that rely on the pride or buffaloes that find strength in numbers, the African leopard walks a different path, silent, solitary, yet remarkably effective. That solitude isn't out of necessity. It's in their nature. Leopards don't live in herds or social groups. Each individual stakes out a territory of its own, only tolerating the presence of another during mating season. In the wild, food isn't always abundant, so flexibility in choosing prey becomes a vital survival skill. A broad 2024 survey revealed their diet to be incredibly diverse, depending on the ecological region they inhabit. In areas rich with antelope or warthogs, those animals become primary targets. When the opportunity arises, they'll also go after monkeys, baboons, even reptiles, birds, fish, and insects. In harsher environments, even rodents or large insects can make the dinner list. But what really sets their hunting skills apart isn't just what they hunt, it's how they hunt and take down their prey. Unlike animals that chase with speed or strike head-on with brute force, the leopard stalks like a shadow, step by step, closing in on its target. They move in until they're just about 5 meters away before launching a precise pounce. A bite to the throat or the back of the neck quickly stops the prey from struggling due to lack of air. This method helps the leopard conserve energy, a crucial advantage for a creature that hunts alone and has to rely entirely on itself. Observations from Kruger National Park in 2024 show that most hunting activity occurs between dusk and dawn. This behavior helps them avoid clashing with stronger competitors. Leopards also possess extraordinary night vision and sensitive hearing, sharp enough to catch even the faintest sounds in the dark. These two senses work together to make them one of the most effective nocturnal hunters on land. And it's not just hunting, they're opportunists too. In rare situations, they don't hesitate to steal food from other species. Biologically speaking, their success rate in hunts isn't especially high, only around 38 to 45%. They don't always win right away, but they know when to strike and when to retreat. Most importantly, they know how to hold on to what they've earned, something not every animal in the wild can manage. Among the big five, perhaps the leopard's greatest rival is the lion. In the African wilderness, where every step could be a fight for survival, the African leopard and the lion are far from allies. They are natural rivals, sharing the same territory, yet keeping their distance in a tense, uneasy balance. A 2024 study in Sabi Sand found that lions were responsible for up to 22% of unnatural adult leopard fatalities, mainly through food theft or by targeting leopard cubs. Leopards, in contrast, avoid head-on conflict with quiet finesse. They retreat into dense forests, operate mostly at night, and rely on their climbing skills to stash food high in the trees, well out of a lion's reach. The success rate for keeping a meal after hauling it into a tree is as high as 85%, compared to just 42% if left on the ground. But lions can pick up the scent of a carcass quickly. A male lion had already made its way to the tree where the leopard had hung its catch. It tried to climb the tree and snatch the hard-earned prey. The leopard scrambled to the highest branches, aware that the lion might actually reach the carcass. Though lions can climb trees in certain situations, they're not skilled climbers by nature, nor do they commonly do so. The leopard let out a low rasp and swiftly dragged the prey even higher, keeping a careful watch from above. The lion struggled for a while, gazing up as if hoping the leopard might drop its precious meal. Instead, it found only a small bone with a bit of meat left, not enough to bother with, so it walked away. What's interesting is that a lion's upper hand over the leopard isn't just about strength in numbers, it's also about size. At birth, lions weigh 1.0 to 1.5 kilograms, nearly twice the size of a leopard cub. They're also raised by multiple lionesses working together, but a leopard mother is on her own, which is why, when it comes to protecting her cubs, the leopardess turns into a fierce warrior. She often hides her young in rock crevices or tree hollows and keeps constant watch, as their survival rate in the first few years is only around 50%. So if anything dares to come near, whether it's a lioness larger than herself, she won't hesitate to defend them. Lions hunt leopard cubs not out of hunger, but as a strategy to limit future competition for territory and resources. This tactic helps lions maintain dominance in their range. If a leopard cub makes it through its first year, its chances of survival jump significantly, rising to 80 to 90% once it reaches adulthood. But as adults, they face a new challenge in their dynamic with lions: territorial overlap. If a lion spots a leopard within its domain, a chase is almost guaranteed. And while leopards are often outmatched, they've never disappeared. They survive through adaptability, patience, and strategy, moving like silent phantoms through the cracks in the lion's reign. Among all creatures, the lion stands as a revered king. But among the big five, it is merely one of the pack, a bloodthirsty and relentless hunter. Male lions stretch between 1.8 to 2.1 meters in body length, not including the tail, stand about 1.2 meters tall at the shoulder, and weigh between 150 to 250 kilograms. They carry themselves with majesty, their manes full and impressive, shifting in color from pale gold to deep brown with age, sometimes tipped in black, a sign of strength and dominance. Around them, the female lions appear leaner in build, weighing only between 120 to 182 kilograms. A male lion's roar echoes across the plains, traveling up to 8 kilometers. It's a proud, commanding sound, a declaration that says, "This is our territory." But that roar is more than a warning to intruders. It's also a call of connection, guiding pride members back to safety, keeping the group close in the chill of dusk. Lions move as a unit. Each of their long tails swings gently, ending in a dense tuft of black fur. Hidden inside is a hard spine-like structure at the very tip, an anatomical mystery whose function is still not fully understood. Some scientists believe it may aid in communication or help maintain balance during the hunt. In the past, lions once roamed across Africa, Asia, and southeastern Europe. Today, only about 20,000 to 25,000 African lions remain, a decline of more than 60% since the mid-20th century. Their ideal habitat is open savannas and grasslands scattered with acacia trees, home to wildebeest, African buffalo, and antelope species like impala. These wide, open landscapes give the pride a long view, perfect for spotting and ambushing prey. Unlike any other big cat, the lion lives in a group, known as a pride, a unique and remarkable social structure in the feline world. Each pride typically includes 1 to 7 adult males, often brothers or individuals who formed an alliance during adolescence. Together, they share the responsibility of defending a vast territory, sometimes spanning hundreds of square kilometers. Their role goes beyond maintaining land control. They must also protect the pride from other roaming male lions seeking to infiltrate and take over mating rights. Surrounding this male alliance are 5 to 15 related female lions. They are the core of the pride, holding primary responsibility for hunting, raising cubs, and preserving the bloodline. Each female contributes not through dominance, but through seamless cooperation, like parts of a single body moving in harmony. A defining trait of lions is their clear division of roles. Females carry out about 85 to 90% of all hunting activity. With the precision of a professional strike team, groups of 3 to 7 lions execute coordinated strategies. Some lions ambush from the front, the center, while others circle around from both sides, acting as wings. This strategy is especially effective against larger prey like wildebeest, zebras, or African buffalo. A study by Panthera and Oxford University, using 30 years of data from the Serengeti, revealed that small groups of 3 to 7 individuals had the highest hunting success rates, especially when at least one experienced older lioness was involved. Statistics also show that lionesses with strong social bonds are likely to live up to 30% longer than those living more isolated lives. Meanwhile, male lions, though less involved in hunting, play a vital role in territorial control and reproduction. When a new coalition takes over a pride, infanticide can occur. They eliminate cubs still nursing from previous males to trigger the female's return to estrus more quickly. This behavior, harsh as it may seem, reflects a biological strategy to maximize the spread of their genes during their brief time in power. Interestingly, prides don't always move as a single unit. They can split into smaller subgroups, sometimes just 2 or 3 lions, depending on the situation, whether it's for hunting, resting, or guarding cubs. This model is known as fission-fusion, a flexible social structure that allows lions to adapt more effectively to environmental changes, especially as extreme weather becomes more common across Africa's savannas. Research at Kruger National Park shows that leopards lose 38 to 50% of their catches to scavengers, with lions being the primary cause. Leopards often steer clear of areas marked by lion presence and use tall trees, cliffs, and rugged terrain to avoid direct encounters. A male lion spotted a leopard with its catch on a decaying tree. The leopard hadn't yet moved the catch to a higher branch. It had to worry about saving itself first. Tree climbing ability in lions varies between the sexes. Male lions have a hard time climbing high branches. Their heavy weight makes it difficult to balance, and their movements are slow and awkward. Their manes aren't just heavy. They get in the way when climbing, blocking vision and easily snagging on low-hanging branches. Poor leopard. It could do nothing but watch from above. Climbing down now would be no different than surrendering itself to the king of the savanna. As for the lion, though it couldn't climb any higher, it had already found what it came for, a portion of the catch the leopard had left behind. After eating, it climbed down at its own pace and wandered off like nothing had happened. If in the previous situation the male lion showed a lack of agility while attempting to climb the tree, then the lioness, the driving force behind all of the pride's hunts, climbs almost as well as a leopard. The following encounter is a clear example. A leopard had successfully hunted a young impala and carried it up into a tall tree, just as it always does to protect and preserve its catch. It carefully placed the prey on the highest branches. But 2 lionesses spotted it and swiftly climbed up. Perhaps this tree was within the pride's territory. A clash broke out. Maybe the lioness wasn't just there to steal the catch. It was also sending a message to the leopard that it didn't belong there. After several attempts to reach it, the lioness chose to let the leopard be and climbed down, growling with frustration. But having its meal taken by a lion is still better for a leopard than being surrounded by an entire pride. Lions hunt in groups, and once they close in, few prey can escape. Even a clever predator like the leopard would struggle to get away. One such lopsided encounter was recorded, 12 lions against a single male leopard. They encircled the leopard and began wearing it down. The leopard's fiercest counter was to lie on its back and slash with sharp claws at any lion that tried to bite. But that didn't slow the pride. One by one, they closed in and struck relentlessly. Eventually, the leopard's strength gave out. The dominant hunters landed the final blow, but the goal of these confrontations isn't always to feed. One explanation for why lions walk away or don't aim to eat the leopard is to eliminate a rival or to assert territorial control. Another reason lionesses might eliminate a leopard when they catch one is to protect their cubs. In overlapping territories, leopards can pose a threat to lion cubs in some regions. The lion's favorite meals are hoofed animals, but among the big 5, there are no wildebeests or zebras. there is only the African buffalo, the sole representative of even-toed ungulates in the group, alongside animals like deer, antelope, and gazelles. But a lion can't take down an African buffalo alone. It needs at least one ally. With a powerful bite to the throat, its jaws clamp down until the buffalo can no longer fight back. Studies show that a lion's bite force reaches between 1,100 to 1,800 newtons at the canines and up to 3,200 to 4,200 newtons through the jaws. However, things don't always go that smoothly. To hunt something 3 to 4 times its own weight, a lion often needs to rally the entire pride. There's documented footage of 18 hungry lions struggling to bring down a single buffalo. In that scene, the hunting prowess of the Savanna's king was on full display. The pride had locked onto a heavily muscled buffalo and had no plans to let it go. Lionesses surrounded the prey from all sides, always stepping aside when the buffalo charged. If one lion approached from behind, the buffalo would whirl around, and the lion would retreat. That's when 2 or 3 others would seize the opening and attack, a trap with no clear way out. It seemed like the pride had finally overwhelmed the buffalo. But another buffalo came charging in to rescue its companion, flinging a lion through the air and turning the tide. It pushed the lions back and helped its partner to its feet. Now the mission was to protect the buffalo's wounded hindquarters and find an escape route. After a tense standoff, the buffalo ran. But with 18 lions, it didn't get far. One lioness leapt onto its back and bit down, clearing the way for nearly 10 others to pile on. The buffalo cried out in desperation. It was flipped onto its back, its vulnerable neck exposed. Over 10 lions swarmed it, leaving only a single leg visible beneath the mass. But then they suddenly stopped and scattered. The same buffalo that had come to the rescue earlier returned, this time to crash the feast. With help on its side, the battered buffalo rose again. Its body was now covered in wounds. The interruption reignited the lion's determination. They bit at its legs and back until it finally collapsed for good. Only then did the pride get their meal. When a pride is too small, fully grown African buffalo are far from easy targets. One study found that the lioness's heart makes up just 0.57% of her body weight, compared to 0.45% in males. If they can't secure a throat hold, it's tough to bring a buffalo down. Lions tire quickly in prolonged battles, giving the buffalo a chance to escape. But it's not just the nearly 1-ton weight that makes lions hesitate. Let's explore the only hoofed animal in the Big Five, and discover why not just humans, but even the king of the savannah thinks twice before challenging them. Under the blazing sun of the savannah, where the wind carries the rhythm of the earth and sky, there is a creature whose very presence makes you stop and take notice, radiating a natural, commanding presence. This is the African buffalo, also known as the Cape buffalo, a wild bovine built like a moving fortress, heavy yet proud. In the wild, they are not predators, but they possess a strength that even lions think twice about. They stand 1 to 1.7 meters tall at the shoulder, measure over 3 meters in length, and adult males weigh around 700 kilograms, sometimes reaching up to 900 kilograms. Females are lighter, usually between 400 to 600 kilograms. With that kind of mass, even a quick glance reveals dense muscle rippling beneath their dark skin, only becoming more visible as they age and their hair thins over time. The color of their coat tells a story too. Newborn calves usually have reddish-brown fur, which darkens to black or deep brown as they mature. In old age, their thinning coat exposes a darkened hide, marking the path they've traveled, like a map of time etched onto their bodies. A buffalo's head almost always tilts low, not just for grazing, but as a constant state of vigilance. It's a posture they never abandon, whether at rest or facing danger. African buffalo roam across sub-Saharan Africa, from the sweeping grasslands of the Serengeti to the sparse forests of Central Africa. They cannot survive far from water, needing to drink daily to regulate body temperature and metabolism. Areas near rivers, lakes, or swamps are their preferred habitats. Their main diet consists of tall, coarse grasses, plants that many herbivores avoid. They can digest roughly 2.2% of their body weight per day. A buffalo weighing 700 kilograms eats about 15 kilograms of grass daily. A smaller one at 500 kilograms eats about 11 kilograms, and the lighter forest buffalo needs only around 6.5 kilograms. This daily intake not only sustains the individual, but also helps manage local vegetation, paving the way for animals like zebras and wildebeests to share in the food supply. Their ecological role goes far beyond that of just a grazer. African buffalo help shape the vegetation structure, create pathways for smaller animals, and serve as a key food source for predators like lions. Many other herbivores choose to travel near buffalo herds, taking advantage of this living shield against predators, an unofficial but clearly present form of symbiosis in the wild. Black Death. That's the name local people and seasoned explorers use to refer to the African buffalo. Not because of the color of its coat, but because of its fierce nature, unyielding power, and the kind of force that makes even top predators like lions hesitate. In the vast grasslands where the sun scorches the earth and every blade of grass curls dry in the wind, this is the animal that makes the savanna hold its breath when it moves in numbers. The strength of this buffalo isn't just in its massive build, it lies in how they live, never alone. They are symbols of herd spirit, of discipline, and of unbreakable connection. A herd of African buffalo can range from a few dozen to over 1,000 individuals, structured into family units where females and their calves stay closely bonded. Multiple family groups come together to form a massive, mobile force, a wave of muscle and mass rolling across the grasslands. Within the herd structure, males play a unique role. Younger bulls aged 4 to 7 or older ones past 12 often form bachelor groups, separate from the main herd. Those no longer able to compete for dominance tend to withdraw, living alone at the fringes or in the outer edges of the herd's range. This clear separation helps minimize internal conflict and allows the herd to operate efficiently under the guidance of experienced females. Beyond their ability to fight, what's remarkable is that an African buffalo herd doesn't move aimlessly. Their direction is often decided through a kind of natural voting system where adult females express agreement on the direction of travel using specific gestures. This coordination allows the herd to move several kilometers a day while maintaining order, staying efficient, and adapting quickly to environmental changes such as drought or food shortages. The most recognizable feature of the African buffalo is its massive set of horns. In adult males, the thick horns curve downward from the crown of the head, then sweep outward in a powerful arc. At the base, the horns fuse into a dense shield of bone more than 5 centimeters thick, known as the boss, a natural helmet of armor. The span between the horn tips can exceed 1 meter, and in rare cases, reach up to 1.64 meters, nearly the length of a fully outstretched adult human arm. Horn development is also tied to testosterone levels. Buffalo with larger horns tend to be more reproductively fit and attract greater attention from females. And those horns can send a lion flying should one dare approach an angry herd. A typical Black Death herd ranges from 50 to 500 individuals. Naturally, this far outnumbers a pride of lions. In resource-rich areas like the Okavango Delta in Botswana, buffalo herds can grow to 1,000 or more. One lion pride faced off with them in the flooded plains. Their only choice was to retreat. Even young lions must learn to swim through the wetlands. Otherwise, they risk being trampled beneath the hooves of African buffalo. On the flip side, buffalo calves are often targeted by lions. A mother buffalo must both defend her calf and signal for backup from the bulls in the herd. When threatened, especially with a calf in danger, the herd doesn't hesitate to strike back. With broad horns and bodies weighing hundreds of kilograms, the bulls charge forward to repel predators. This collective defense response is known in ecology as mobbing behavior. But in the Big Five, it's not just the lion that poses a threat to a buffalo calf. The leopard, a master of the night, is also a formidable danger. Cape buffalo have fairly good daytime vision, sharp enough to detect movement from a distance. A lone leopard usually isn't even worth the effort to chase off. However, once night falls, their vision declines significantly, since their eyesight depends on natural light and lacks adaptations for low light conditions. This gives the leopard a decent opportunity to slip close to the herd under the cover of darkness. Taking advantage of the chaos as the Cape buffalo scatter at the sight of a predator, the leopard seizes a calf. During the day, if a leopard happens to pass near a buffalo herd, it won't even consider stopping. If the herd catches up, the leopard might climb to a height where the buffalo can't reach. Then, it waits, watching for a moment when the buffalo are distracted, to make its escape. What earned the African buffalo the nickname Black Death isn't its social structure, but its reaction to danger. They are known for their aggressive temperament, unpredictable behavior, and incredibly strong defensive instincts. Even when facing the elephant, the largest member of the Big Five, they don't always back down. African bush elephants and Cape buffalo are often found together in areas rich in water and grass. But during the dry season, when water becomes scarce, elephants tend to dominate, forcing buffalo to shift their drinking times, a clear sign of behavioral competition. Still, the African buffalo has a presence of its own. An elephant might chase it away, but not with force. An elephant used its trunk to shoo the buffalo away, but the buffalo refused to budge. The elephant then lifted its foot and kicked at the buffalo's head. It was immediately rammed by the buffalo's thick, heavy horns. In another instance, when the elephant drove the buffalo away, perhaps it was claiming its territory. The push came swiftly. The buffalo turned and stared down the elephant. It clearly wasn't happy about being forced off by an African elephant. Seeing the Black Death silently holding its ground, the elephant backed off and stood still until the buffalo finally walked away. But does that mean the African bush elephant is timid? Let's find out in the next section. Larger than all the other Big Five animals combined, and the biggest land animal on Earth, the African bush elephant moves through the savanna like a giant sage. Adult males can stand up to 3.96 meters tall and weigh more than 10.4 tons, the same as a fully loaded six-wheeled truck. Females are more modest in size, standing around 2.6 meters tall and weighing between 2 to 3.5 tons. Yet both are built for life and movement across vast landscapes, from arid grasslands to distant wetlands. The most striking feature of their body is the trunk. a true biological wonder. Made of over 150,000 bundles of muscle fibers, it contains no bones, yet is powerful enough to lift up to 350 kilograms and delicate enough to pick a single leaf or gently place fruit into the mouth. It is the center of smell, touch, and even emotion. The trunk is also an essential survival tool. In dry weather, a single inhale can draw in up to 14 liters of water, then gracefully pour it into the mouth or spray it onto the back like a natural shower. And with two unique fingers at its tip, the elephant can grip, twist, pull, or strip tree bark like a skilled artisan. Their tusks, elongated incisors that grow throughout life, serve as both weapons and multi-purpose tools. Reaching over 3.5 meters in length and growing up to 17 centimeters per year, these tusks are used to dig for water in dry ground, strip bark for nutrients, and signal age and status within the herd. Both males and females have tusks, but in males, they tend to be much longer and heavier. Their ears are another example of sophisticated biological design. Not only large and shaped like the map of Africa, they're also filled with blood vessels that help regulate body temperature. When the heat peaks, a single flap of the ear helps cool the blood throughout the body. Ears also enhance their hearing, allowing them to detect infrasound frequencies below 1 kilohertz, which can travel for kilometers across the quiet savanna. Their gray skin, around 2.5 centimeters thick and deeply wrinkled, gives them a rugged yet practical look. These folds help retain moisture, especially after mud or water baths, acting like a natural coat that shields them from heat and insects. African bush elephants aren't tied to a single type of habitat. They are found in over 23 sub-Saharan African countries, from the open plains of Botswana to the ancient forests of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Each environment presents unique challenges, and their adaptability is astonishing. In dry places like Namibia's deserts, they can travel more than 200 kilometers in a single night in search of water and survive up to 4 days without drinking. They are an essential part of the ecosystem. By grazing, thinning forests and creating pathways, elephants shape the landscape, preventing grasslands from turning into forests and maintaining biodiversity. In ecological terms, they're known as a keystone species, a critical link that helps sustain balance across the entire surrounding ecosystem. Looking deeper into the life of the African bush elephant, what astonishes us isn't just its massive size, but the remarkable intelligence and intricate matriarchal social structure it has preserved for centuries across the vast lands of sub-Saharan Africa. Each elephant herd is a tightly knit matriarchal community, led by a matriarch, the oldest and most experienced female. This is not a ceremonial title. It is the heart of survival. Within her memory are migration routes, hidden waterholes tucked deep in the arid savanna, and fertile lands across seasons, preserved like living maps and passed down to younger generations through gestures and example. Other females in the herd, usually her daughters and granddaughters, form a stable social unit, jointly raising, protecting, and teaching the young. Meanwhile, young males, around 12 to 15 years old, leave the herd as they reach adolescence, beginning solitary lives or joining loosely formed bachelor groups. This separation helps preserve the stability of the matriarchal structure and reduces reproductive competition within the group. At the center of this intelligent and emotionally rich behavior is a massive brain, over 5 kilograms in weight, the largest of any land animal. But it's not just the size that's impressive. With a highly folded cortex and up to 257 billion neurons, 3 times that of a human brain, elephants can process complex information with astounding precision and depth. Brain regions related to memory and emotion, like the hippocampus and temporal lobes, are exceptionally developed, providing a foundation for extraordinary spatial memory and social recall. A matriarch may remember the location of a waterhole that still held water after years of drought, leading the herd across hundreds of kilometers to find it. That memory isn't just for survival. It's the only way vital experience gets passed down. Beyond spatial memory, they can recognize hundreds of individuals, both elephant and human. An elephant mistreated by a person can remember that face for decades and respond clearly if they cross paths again. Conversely, they show trust and closeness to those who once helped or cared for them. And memory isn't the only strength. They've been observed solving problems, a clear sign of thinking beyond instinct. They use branches to scratch or swat flies, roll rocks or logs to dismantle electric fences, and even dig deeper holes together when searching for water. These actions show observation, learning, and behavioral flexibility. In field experiments, elephants have cooperated to pull ropes or manipulate unfamiliar objects to reach a goal, once thought to be a trait limited to primates. But what truly amazes scientists is the elephant's depth of emotional life. A wounded calf is comforted by gentle trunk touches from the herd. When one of them dies, the others gather silently around the body, using their trunks to stroke the bones and tusks, as if saying a final goodbye. Years later, the herd may return to the same place, as though in remembrance. To sustain such an emotionally rich and socially coordinated society, elephants have developed a multi-layered communication system. They use infrasound, frequencies below human hearing, to send messages across air and ground, reaching distances of up to 10 kilometers. These vibrations are sensed not only by the ears, but also heard through the soles of their feet, which contain highly sensitive seismic sensors. Alongside sound, they use body language, flapping ears to warn, swinging trunks to ward off, and shifting posture to signal intent. A recent discovery in 2024 revealed that elephants can call each other by name, using specific vocal sounds to refer to individual herd members and responding accurately when their own name is played back in a recording, something previously observed only in humans and a few talking bird species. The bond among African elephants within a herd is clearly illustrated in the following moment, when an elephant named Lundi hesitated while trying to drive a buffalo away from a waterhole. African buffalo are fiercely bold, and they don't fear another herbivore, even one 5 to 7 times their size. At first, Lundi confidently walked toward the buffalo drinking from the waterhole. She lowered her head and spread her ears wide, trying to appear larger. But the buffalo didn't budge. Lundi hesitated, advancing, then retreating, while the other remained unfazed, as if nothing was happening. Eventually, the stubborn African buffalo lifted its head and stared back at Lundi. It stepped up the bank, shaking its horns, showing it was just as headstrong. 3 more elephants arrived as Lundi backed away. They reached out with their trunks to reassure her. According to researchers at Emory University in the United States, elephants use their trunks to caress, gently touch, or entwine with other elephants during moments of stress or grief, much like how humans embrace to comfort one another. Lundi returned to face the buffalo, but its unyielding stance, like a statue, seemed to sap her will again. Finally, when all 3 elephants joined her, the Cape buffalo moved off. But not every elephant is as gentle as Lundi. There was a shocking moment caught on record, an enraged elephant attacking a frail, thin buffalo. The buffalo had no chance to fight back. In the end, the size difference still gives the elephant a clear upper hand in a confrontation with a buffalo. Among the big five, the lion may be the African elephant's greatest rival. Lions usually avoid adult elephants and rarely hunt their young. But when food runs scarce, nothing is off the table. Elephants have one of the longest and most complex pregnancies of any mammal. The African elephant's gestation period lasts about 22 months, nearly 2 years, longer than any other mammal. A female elephant typically gives birth to just one calf every 4 to 6 years. In Chobe National Park, a heartbreaking moment was captured as a pride of lions hunted elephant calves while the mother stood helpless. The mother elephant had gone in search of water with her twin calves. According to conservation groups like Save the Elephants and research from the Smithsonian Institution's Zoological Biology Department, only about 1% of elephant births are twins. In the wild, that number is even lower, around 0.5%, meaning only a few sets of twins are ever documented among thousands of births. The pride had already surrounded them, waiting in ambush from multiple directions. They were hungry. The 2 calves stayed close to their mother as they moved. She tried to shield them while remaining alert in all directions. One lioness distracted the mother, giving the others a chance to strike at the calves. One was taken. The panicked mother searched desperately for the calf that had been snatched away, but the rest of the lions had already turned toward the remaining one. In a heartbreaking moment, the mother was forced to make a decision to save the one she still had. She couldn't afford to lose both. But lions can only challenge a lone African elephant, not a herd. An incredibly tense encounter between these 2 dominant species was documented. A herd of African elephants passed near a group of lions. The elephants suddenly turned aggressive. Their trumpeting mixed with swirling dust drove the watching lions into retreat. As they neared a riverbank, the elephants discovered 10 lions feasting on a buffalo. Whether out of empathy for the fallen animal or some deeper instinct, the elephants began moving quickly toward the scene. The lions responded with growls of warning, but the matriarch charged in, scattering the lions and lifting the lifeless buffalo. It was too late. Realizing this, the matriarch led the herd away, casting one last complex, lingering glance. When a lion is alone, it's no match for an elephant. One lioness was resting near a waterhole when she spotted an elephant approaching. With no time to flee, she hid behind the waterhole, hoping to remain unnoticed. The elephant likely saw her while drinking, but stayed calm. Later, it sprayed water with its trunk, scaring the lioness off. In the lens of faith and symbolism, elephants represent patience, wisdom, and compassion, while lions symbolize power and judgment. When these 2 icons interact in nature, it also reflects the balance between strength and wisdom, instinct and grace, a dynamic that each of us must learn to navigate in our own journey through life. Though not natural enemies, there's always been an invisible distance between African elephants and rhinoceroses, a quiet competition for space, food, and most of all, precious water during the dry season. Even with its large, pointed horn up front, the rhinoceros can be pushed back by an elephant when conflict arises at a watering hole. But the elephant wasn't satisfied. It was furious. You think it walked away? No, it went to get reinforcements. This elephant wanted to reclaim the watering hole from the rhinoceros. But it wasn't as aggressive as the one before. It took a slight step back when the rhino showed signs of charging. But then it reversed the situation with slow, steady steps forward. 2 other elephants followed closely behind, backing up the lead elephant. Occasionally, African elephants will use their trunks to pick up broken branches and throw them at the rhino to drive it back. If you're wondering why rhinoceroses don't dominate in these encounters with African elephants, remember the vast size difference between the 2 species. Elephants are about 2 to 3 times heavier than a white rhinoceros and 5 to 7 times heavier than a black rhinoceros. In terms of height, elephants stand 1.5 to 2 times taller than rhinos. To make that easier to picture, if a white rhino is like a rugged off-road SUV, then the African elephant is a fully loaded school bus with its engine running. Rhinos are far from weak. They're just not in the same weight class as elephants. At first glance, the most striking feature of a rhinoceros is its signature horns growing between the forehead and the nose. Unlike antlers in deer, which are made of bone, a rhino's horn is composed entirely of keratin, the same protein found in human hair and fingernails. That material makes a key difference. The horn grows continuously throughout the rhino's life and can reach up to 140 centimeters in some adults. It gives them not just an intimidating look, but also a powerful tool for both defense and territorial combat. Their skin gives the impression that they're wearing a suit of natural armor. Up to 5 centimeters thick, rhino skin shields them from the blistering savanna sun and protects against thorny bushes and sudden bites from predators. Their gray or brown hide is often covered in dried mud, a result of their wallowing habits, which cool the body and help fend off parasites. Their build resembles that of a massive wooden barrel, solid and impenetrable. 4 short, sturdy legs support a body weighing over 3,600 kilograms, making them one of the largest land animals alive. Despite their bulk, rhinoceroses can reach speeds of up to 55 kilometers per hour in short bursts when threatened, transforming into true biological tanks. Their vision is relatively poor, often unable to distinguish objects clearly at a distance. But nature compensates with outstanding hearing and smell. Their ears swivel independently, like radar scanners constantly surveying the surroundings. Their sense of smell allows them to detect scents from several hundred meters away, a major advantage in a world full of threats. Africa is home to 2 species of rhinoceros, the white rhino and the black rhino. Their names don't reflect skin color. Both are gray, but come from a language mix-up. Dutch settlers in South Africa called the wide-lipped rhino wide, meaning wide, but the word was misinterpreted as white when English speakers arrived. White rhinos have broad, square lips, perfectly adapted for grazing on grasses. They're classic grazers. They usually move with heads lowered and live in small groups, mostly composed of females and their calves. By the end of 2023, the population of white rhinos in southern Africa had reached 17,464 individuals, with more than 12,968 living in South Africa. In contrast, black rhinos are smaller, weighing around 1,000 to 1,500 kilograms on average, but they possess a pointed, grasping upper lip, perfect for browsing on leaves, buds, and young branches. They often hold their heads high to reach tree canopies and tend to live solitary lives. Rhinoceroses are not known for being sociable. They are highly territorial and mark boundaries with dung piles, known as middens, or with urine. This scent marking is a unique form of communication, carrying messages about age, sex, and reproductive status. Even though they don't live in large herds, they maintain subtle social ties through these chemical signals. Mud bathing is an essential part of their daily routine. When the temperature rises, they seek out muddy pools, covering themselves in thick, sludgy layers. As the mud dries, it pulls off parasites and acts as a natural layer of insulation. If a white rhino and a black rhino went head-to-head, which one do you think would win? Now, let's return to the battles. Among the big 5, Cape buffalo may be the most similar to the rhinoceros. Both are large-hoofed animals with impressive horns and muscular builds. But the biggest thing they have in common, what often leads to conflict, is their shared habitat. Both species are widely distributed across savannas, grasslands, and sparse forests, particularly in East and Southern Africa. Fights between them are rare but unavoidable, and the buffalo, though it weighs a maximum of 1 ton, is bold enough to charge into battle with a 2.5-ton white rhinoceros. Luck may have favored the African buffalo slightly in this case. The white rhino had lost its sharp front horn. They clashed head-on, with the rhino's remaining horn meeting the buffalo's thick boss. White rhinos are not as temperamental as black rhinos. Perhaps that's why the buffalo initially held the upper hand. But within seconds, the white rhino turned the tide. It flung the buffalo aside, even tossing it into a spin across the ground. The battle ended as the Cape buffalo retreated. It seems that, among the herbivores of the Big Five, victory often comes down to one simple rule: the bigger one wins. So what about the predators? A male lion weighs up to 250 kilograms, just 1/10 the weight of a white rhinoceros. He wants to protect his mate during the breeding season, but his roar only makes 3 rhinos step back a few paces. When the rhinos move forward, horns lowered and sharp, the lion pair flees instantly. Lions generally avoid direct confrontations with rhinos, even the males. The reason is simple. No one wants to be gored by the sharp horn at the center of a rhino's head. This rare herbivore doesn't like the king of the savanna either. Whenever a lion is spotted inside its territory, the male rhino will chase it off without hesitation. Lions rarely get the upper hand in a fight with any rhino, unless the rhino is already in danger. One rhino got stuck in a waterhole for hours. It couldn't get out, and the lion pride was looking to fill their empty bellies. A herd of elephants passed by and noticed the scene. Though they often clash over drinking water, elephants are giants with great empathy. One elephant stepped forward, using its trunk to try and rescue the rhinoceros. It struggled for a long time, but the rhino was too heavy and too weak after being trapped for so long. Eventually, the elephant gave up and walked away, leaving the rhino to its fate. The lion pride returned to the massive prey. Now, nothing stood in their way. Among the Big Five, there's always competition between the strongest. But those fierce battles are nothing compared to the brutal fight for survival playing out every day. The rhinoceros has suffered the most. It is listed as critically endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. By the end of 2023, fewer than 28,000 individuals remained worldwide. South Africa, home to over 60% of the global population, recorded 499 rhinos poached in 2023, a number that fell to about 420 in 2024. For elephants, around 20,000 individuals are still lost each year due to ivory harvesting. Between 2016 and 2023, over 140 tons of ivory were confiscated. Although countries like Kenya and several parts of East Africa have improved enforcement, international trafficking networks continue to operate, pushing the species onto the endangered list. Lions are not widely targeted by poachers, but they often fall victim to human-wildlife conflict. While there are no exact figures for 2024, conservation groups report that lion populations continue to decline, placing them on the vulnerable list. Leopards, though adaptable and elusive, have not escaped the threats of skin, bone, and organ trafficking. They are also listed as vulnerable, but many biologists believe that without early intervention, leopards could soon face the same fate as the rhino. But the steps of the Big Five are no longer taken alone. After years of loss, 2024 marks a turning point, thanks to effective conservation strategies. For rhinoceroses, dehorning, the practice of removing their horns, has reduced the risk of poaching by up to 78%. Over 2,200 individuals in 11 reserves have undergone the procedure, with an average cost of only $570 per animal. In South Africa, which holds the majority of the world's rhino population, poaching numbers dropped by 16% in 2024 to around 420 individuals. For African elephants, monitoring technologies like drones, AI-powered cameras, and rapid response teams have helped Zakuma National Park go without a single poaching incident since 2016. As for African lions and leopards, electric fencing and motion sensor warning systems have significantly reduced human-wildlife conflict. In Senegal, new legislation and public education campaigns have weakened the cultural use of leopard skin in traditional magic. Cape buffalo, though not commonly hunted, has benefited from disease monitoring programs in Liwonde, which have helped prevent outbreaks and preserve population health. In this renewed effort, technology and community form a dual shield, creating a vibrant protection system where the Big Five are no longer just symbols, but proof of what unity and progress can achieve. Every small action makes a big difference. As the Big Five begin to recover through science and collective effort, we can each play a part by supporting conservation funds, spreading awareness, making responsible choices, and speaking out against wildlife trafficking. Think of protecting Africa as protecting Earth itself, our shared home, where every living being is a vital link. Conservation isn't just the job of scientists. It's a promise from all of humanity to the future. And if you've ever been to Africa and seen any of these extraordinary Big Five species in the wild, or even just watched them at your nearest zoo, don't hesitate to share your stories and knowledge in the comments below. Your voice could inspire and fuel ongoing conservation efforts, helping preserve these majestic animals and the ecosystems they call home for generations to come. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next magical journey with us. Or continue exploring the survival stories of other wild species in Wild Okavango, the survival struggles in Africa's last paradise, or wild Savanna, the footsteps of a lone hunter.